Well, a very fine morning to all of you beautiful people. I hope everybody's doing very well here on the second day of January of 2021. We're going to attempt this morning to bring some value to your life and some quality content to the internet here, as well as adding some content, some quality content and some value to our own lives here at the Known Place. So I want to take a few minutes with y'all this morning and show you a couple of things. Specifically, what I wanted to do here is setting out to plant a blueberry bush this morning. So I wanted to show you all how I dig a hole and talk to you a little bit about, soil and berries and different things. But let me not ramble here. Let me get to this here. So, yeah, y'all. So we're gonna see how this technology works, and we're gonna dig a hole with y'all. So y'all bear with us as we work through any kind of difficulties that might come here, and look forward to seeing you on the other side. So here we go. We're gonna dig a hole. I hope that y'all can see what I'm seeing. I'll try to fill y'all in here and talk a little bit while we dig. So the reason I've chosen the spot that I have, one of the reasons I've chosen the spot that I've chosen to plant this blueberry is that, as you may be able to see here, there's one large pine tree. There's a few more pine trees around. Hope I'm not blinding everyone. And so the pine trees, over the years, as their pine needles fall, y'all know that pines are typically evergreen trees, but certain times of the year, the needles do fall off of the pine trees. And the pine needles must be renewed just like the leaves. It's just the process is different than it might be for a deciduous tree. And y'all can see here that this ground is actually fairly soft. We've gotten quite a decent amount of rain here lately, so the digging is not too hard today. So how I determine the size of the hole that I dig to plant a tree or a shrub is I sort of take the size of the pot that the tree or the shrub is in, and I basically double it. There's a lot of different sort of formulas we might read on the internet, talking to different folks, as far as the width and the height, or rather the depth of your hole. But the general rule of thumb is you want it to be about twice as wide as the pot that the plant is in, and about 1.5 to twice as deep as the root ball of the plant. So you see, we're actually being blessed this morning with some really easy digging. Sometimes your soil will not be this rich, it will not be this porous in order to dig with, but we're kind of liking what we're seeing here. This is a good sign. We've got some sandiness in this soil. It's kind of a light consistency. There's not any heavy clay here up near the surface, and you see we've got some really nice, just dark soil that's really going to benefit our plant. So we're going to sort of take a pause here and get the rest of this soil and this dirt out of this hole and pull out some of these roots, y'all. We want to get some of these roots out from our hole. We'll come to y'all again here shortly with another video where we actually do plant this blueberry in the ground. So I'm going to get to removing some of the soil, and we'll come back with you real shortly. So y'all, I hope everybody's doing well still. I had a thought just now that I might as well be recording while I am digging in the dirt here. Y'all see, I just have a good time doing this. It's just peaceful for me to get out here and to get my hands dirty and play in the dirt, as I like to say. But I wanted to talk to y'all briefly about a couple things here, just what I'm doing before I get sidetracked with my internal dialogue here, or monologue as it were. You'll see that I'm kind of getting out sort of any of these roots that I see. I've got a big root back here I'll have to deal with the shovel. But I'm just kind of going through here and pulling out any roots and any grass that I see, y'all. If I see some of this grass root especially, I try to get it out. Try to pull out some clumps. Maybe y'all can see this. And we're going to compost all of this that we're pulling out, so we're not going to let it go to waste. Sylvia in that mix, trying to see what we're up to. Anyway, y'all, so I looked up a word a few minutes ago. I thought that was interesting. I looked up the word soil because I wanted to see where that comes from. If you've been following me, or if you're friends with me on the Facebook, you know that I enjoy digging into the etymologies of words and seeing sort of where the words that we use, where they come from. And so I looked up the word soil, just Googled it, and found that soil comes from the Latin, as many of our English words do, via French, if you go back far enough. So soil, in the context of what you see in the ground here, the soil, comes from the Latin word that just means ground, solum. And y'all, if you know me, you know I'm not a professional Latin scholar. I'm just sort of an amateur with the Latin. But yeah, so it's just soil. When we say soil, we mean ground. Another thing I thought was pretty interesting, or neat kindly, was we think of soil sometimes as in somebody might soil themselves. You know, that's kind of a thing we hear, you know, talk about some soil clothing or a soil diaper maybe in the context of having babies, toddlers, and so forth. So the word soil seems to come from a different place. This seems to come from via the French, from the Latin word that meant pig. You know, and that's kind of a dig at pigs, I guess. That's another way we use the word dig, I guess, in a slang term. Y'all know I really dig this. So yeah, so it seems that the word sow, which we think of a sow, we think of a female pig. So that seems to derive from the same place as soil in the context of making a mess. Anyway, y'all, this hole's about where we want it to be. We're gonna get the shovel out and dig this a little bit deeper, but when I come back to y'all, we'll have the blueberry with us, and we'll get it out of the pot and put it in the ground. So y'all stay tuned. Okay, everybody, so welcome to the third installment of our video on planting blueberries here on the second day of January of 2021. We're going to try to keep this brief, y'all. You know me, that's one of my catchphrases, so keeping it brief. So a few things. Firstly, I wanted to explain more why I chose the spot that I chose for this blueberry. I mentioned before in a previous video here in this series that the soil here is quite acidic, and I know this because of the decades of pine needle litter here from all our pine trees around, but also because, y'all, I had a soil test done, and it determined that the soil here was a little bit on the acidic side. And I can help y'all also, you know, going forward with soil testing. If that's something you're interested in, just let me know. We can talk more about soil testing through the Extension Service here in Alabama. Another reason I've chosen the spot I did for this is because not only is the soil acidic, but it's got this sandy consistency, y'all, and blueberries really do well in a sandy soil. Yet another reason I chose this spot, in addition to the soil, is because of the amount of sunshine here, y'all. This is a spot here at the known place that gets full sun. Typically full sun means 6 hours or more of direct sunlight on a daily basis. And I know that this spot here gets a lot of sun in the morning. It gets a little peak in the afternoon. But we've got some other blueberries planted nearby, and they've done well for us so far. So we're going to attempt to replicate the magic here. And another reason, y'all, that I've chosen blueberries is because, well, you know, this is kind of a major point here, I think, in gardening, is that, you know, a couple major points. One is that I just love to eat blueberries. I love to be able to harvest blueberries, just go out in the yard in the morning when they're in season and pick them off the canes here, the bush, as it were, and just eat them straight away. And also the reason I'm digging the blueberries, no pun intended, I guess, is that not only do I enjoy eating them, but they're also a plant that will give fruit year after year. And not only this, y'all, but this is actually the best time of year that there is for the planting of blueberries and other types of berries and fruit in general. Y'all, the wintertime is good for planting all your trees and shrubs because a lot of them are dormant, so it's less stressful on the plant. The cooler weather makes it less stressful on you and on the plants. And not only this, but it's easier to get the plants established at the roots with the more consistent rainfall, at least here in our zone here in Alabama. We're in zone 8. Here in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama. So yeah, well, there's a few reasons why we've chosen the blueberry and the spot for this blueberry, but I wanted to show y'all, you know, how I take a plant out of a pot. Y'all, I mentioned to you in the last video that I posted for Plant Daddy that plants are resilient, y'all, and you know, it's important to be gentle with the plants, but there's also a lot of forgiveness as long as you are, you know, treating them with respect and gently. So, you know, sometimes your plants are going to be pretty stuck in their pots. I'm going to try to get this where y'all can see this better, not hog all this. So y'all, so basically what I want to do is I grab a hold with one hand of the plant itself, you know, near the soil. I grab hold of it and get just a good firm hold. And then I just kind of try to let gravity do the rest. And you see this one came right out. Y'all, let's take a look at here at these roots. So this plant, I'm not sure how old it is. Let me not ramble on something I don't know, but we see it's got some nice roots here. Get it where y'all can see a little bit better here. So what we want to do is we want to take this plant. Y'all notice I've spent a little bit of time making our hole a little bit bigger. So yeah, so what I like to do is to kind of get my plant in place and arrange it the way I want it to be. I like to set the plant to the side. And you know, you've seen me, I like to get my hands dirty. So we're gonna just dig in here and move some of the soil to the side. One thing that I did in between the videos here, y'all, was I did make this hole a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper, took out a few more of the roots that I saw. And I could use my shovel for this, but again, I just like to get the hands dirty. It's healthy for you, I reckon. At least this, I'm telling myself this. So I like to go down here, and you'll notice that I'm not getting to the very bottom of this hole. And this might be a little bit of a sloppy video, but y'all know we're trying this out. We're working out the kinks. So I like to just get a little bit of looseness in the bottom, but get out enough that I can set my plant down in here at the level I want it to be. So that's, y'all, that's right about where I need it to be. But because I have all this extra dirt here on the side, what I'm gonna do is take my plant out, put a little bit more soil back in the bottom of our hole, set my blueberry back in place, and y'all, I'm basically done. At this point, that's pretty much all that's left to do, y'all, is gonna be to fill in this dirt around. And y'all, please realize, I said a little while ago that this is a blessed moment for me today, for all of us to get to share in this moment together, because this hole was very, very easy for me to dig. Y'all, I had very little difficulty in getting this hole dug, be it because of the condition, because of the soil, because we're striving to live our best life and do the Lord's work, as people like to say. So from here, y'all, basically the next steps I would take would be to apply some nice balanced granular slow release fertilizer to this shrub. And then I want to mulch my shrub. I want to mulch this blueberry. For my purposes here today, I do believe I'm probably going to mulch with some pine needles. Not to just blow that out of proportion there, but mainly because that's what I have on hand, y'all. I don't have any bark mulch. I don't have any nice nuggets or any shredded kind of cypress mulch. What I have here is lots of pine needles. And really, mulch, y'all, the reason we do this is to, well, it's to protect the plant, it's to protect the soil, it's to help conserve moisture at the roots, y'all. That's one of the two primary purposes of your mulch. If we were to just simply leave this bare, especially if we were to go into a dry spell, any moisture, any water in this top layer of soil is going to evaporate right away because there's nothing sort of standing in between. So when we mulch around the roots of the plants, what we're doing is helping to conserve moisture in the plant. Another thing, of course, we think about weed suppression. You see, that's why I'm getting out this grass here, y'all, because this right here, if I had left this would have just made more grass. I feel like I'm constantly struggling to keep the turf grass from invading my garden here. I call these weeds. So again, y'all, we're going to compost all this stuff that you see me throwing to the side. Another point with the mulch, y'all, and I'll show you in another video, you want to make sure that you leave a little gap. Pretend I've got mulch here. Don't put your mulch all the way up to the trunk of your plant. That could suffocate it. You always want to leave a little bit of a gap between the plant's trunk here at the base and where your mulch begins. So again, you could kind of imagine, put some mulch on here to conserve the moisture in the soil, as well as to suppress any weeds. So y'all, all in all today, I think I spent more time fiddling with the new technology than I did planting the shrubs. So if you take the totality of these videos together, y'all, I would say I've been out here for about 20 minutes, maybe 25. I waited a little while for a train to go by so it wouldn't be hollering in the background. So the takeaway here, y'all, is if you need some assistance, if you would like to beautify your space, if you would like to improve the quality of your property, to put some potentially some food on your plate, either with perennial fruit or with some nuts, or if you wanted to get into more annual vegetable gardening, like with tomatoes and so forth, y'all, we've got abundant resources here. We've been so blessed. Our cup overfloweth, as folks say. So I'm going to cut this here toward the end. Or rather, what I mean to say is I'm going to go ahead and end this. But I hope everybody has a blessed day, and we'll touch base with y'all again real soon. Big love.